Hi, I'm AJ Nash, digital intelligence advocate for Authenticate with another Intel drop. Let's talk about the worst thing in threat intelligence. That's the brief that nobody reads. Your analysts spend hours or days producing a detailed report on an emerging threat. It's well sourced, it's thoroughly analyzed, it's genuinely useful. So they send it out and then nothing. It sits in an inbox, or maybe someone skims the executive summary. Maybe it gets filed on a SharePoint that nobody's ever going to open again. Like most of the vegetables in my refrigerator, it's money spent with good intentions that can easily turn into expired products that didn't deliver us any value. Does that sound familiar? Anybody who's worked in intelligence has gone through this. But if intelligence doesn't reach the decision maker in time to influence their decision, it's no longer intelligence. It's history. Dissemination can't be an afterthought. It's a discipline focused on who needs to know what they need to know, when they need to know it, and in what format will best suit those needs for them. Brilliant analysis delivered to the wrong person is worthless, and timely intelligence in a format nobody will read is also worthless. A detailed report that arrives after the decision's been made, you guessed it, that's also worthless. The failures I see most often with Intel organizations aren't actually about analytical quality. Although there's some challenges there, and please, Steve, stop trusting AI to do the work. But the failure I see most often is really the last mile. The report, goes to a distribution list instead of a specific decision maker. Well, then nobody's responsible for reading it, I guess. It was written in a technical language that executives just can't parse. It's just not written for them. But they're the ones you're sending it to. It arrives on a Friday afternoon when everyone's already checked out. Or it's 12 pages long when the reader has 30 seconds. Now, these are all solvable problems, but they require treating dissemination as seriously as collection analysis. We need to start by asking who specifically needs to act on this information. Not who might be interested, but who needs to act on this information? Who needs this to make a decision? We need to ask what format are they actually going to consume? Maybe you don't like writing papers, but maybe that's what they like to read. Or maybe you don't like doing graphics, but slides are what work for them. Or maybe you're not much for recording audio or video, but that's the only way they're going to consume it. Our job is to get the content to the right people at the right time to make informed decisions, not to just stick to the format we like best and hope somebody gets around to consuming it. Your CISO might just need a one-page summary, right? Your SOC might need a detailed detection guide. Your legal team might need risk implications. It's all the same intelligence, but they're very different products. And honestly, this goes all the way back to the planning direction phase I've talked about ad nauseum at this point. You really need to understand your customer, who you're serving, what their needs are. That does include talking about how do they consume things? What's the best day for them to get something? The best time for them to get it? Which format is the best format for them? We need to make sure we're all on the same page. Because once we've done that, then we can also ask, when does this need to arrive to be useful? Because timing matters as much as context. We used to talk a lot of times in the intelligence community when I was growing up, was the last time of value, basically. Like, that's your cutoff time. If I don't have it by now, don't give it to me. It's too late. You need to know something before it's too late. Listen, if you're telling me you're going to go to the movies at 5:00, giving you the traffic report at 6:00 won't do you a lot of good. You wanted to know what was going to be the fastest track to where you needed to go. I might have given you accurate information, but it's an hour too late. So we really need to know, who needs things, what they need, when they need it, when's it got to arrive. Like I said, to make sure it's valuable, because timing, that matters. That's at least as important as context. A board meeting on Tuesday, your report needs to be the CISO's hands Monday, not Wednesday. I think this is something everybody really understands. Lastly, we need to close the loop. Did the intelligence get used? Did it influence the decision? If so, what was that influence? If not, why was it not influential? We got to close that loop, that feedback loop, so we can do a better job. Was it the wrong audience, the wrong format, the wrong timing? Or was the analysis itself just not very useful? Now, it'd still be better if it wasn't left on a shelf someplace or sitting in somebody's email. At least we're consuming it, but we got to know if it's valuable. Most organizations evaluate their threat intelligence programs the wrong way. Most are just doing basic bean counting. How many reports did we produce? How many IOCs did we consume? We do that because it's easy. Honestly, Intel's a hard thing to measure value of. It's very easy to measure all those big numbers and say, we were involved in, it's 3.2 million pings this year. That doesn't tell me if you did anything of value, though. The only metric that really matters is how much did our intelligence improve decision making? How much do we improve security? If your analysts are producing great work that nobody acts on, you don't have an intelligence problem, you have a dissemination problem. Now, the good news is this is all fixable if you're just willing to focus on it. So please, when you're building your intelligence program, make sure you're talking about all the steps in the intelligence cycle. Dissemination is very important. If you've got good intel and it's just not having impact right now, it's time to sit down and review who are our stakeholders, what are their needs, how do they consume information? Have we had this conversation? Otherwise, your intel reports are going to end up like, the very bad lettuce I'm sure that's in the crisper drawer in my refrigerator right now. All right, so listen, that's all the time I have for today. Thanks for checking in. Stay vigilant.